Hey everybody, wanted to spend a little bit of time talking specifics on the pre-lab write-up. So what I have done is I have taken the rubric straight from the lab book and I have put it on this document here, just so you can see what I'm talking about. What we are going to do is, in this video, talk about this General Pro. And you'll note that the General Pro is on all the labs. Even in Organic 2, you'll have to do this General Pro. And so what General Pro means is general procedure. And here's what I will say about the general procedure and what you need to do for it. Here is the lab handout, or the supplement, that describes simple distillation. And you'll notice that I can scroll through this digital version and there's all sorts of information, okay? And so, and a lot of this is background information. That is not part of the general procedure. What you need to do is, for the general procedure, you need to take the actual thing that you are going to do in the lab and write it up, which for this lab starts here with each one. So when I say here, I mean it starts here with part 1. If you're feeling really ambitious and you want to do this, you can go back to all distillations, determine the rule of thumb, position the bulb of the thermometer. Okay, that's fine. But really what I'm asking you to do is to write what you are doing in the lab. Okay, part 1, part 2, part 3. Okay, for the general procedure. So what this is going to look like is, and let me get out my lab notebook here, is you are going to write here what the general procedure is in your own words. So over here you have added to your table of contents, general procedure starts on page 107. Now, and this is how I'm going to tell if you actually watched the video or not, or at least skimmed it, is before we do a general procedure, we're going to actually write a purpose. Okay? Now, a purpose for this lab is really just a guiding force that's going to guide you, or a guiding statement that's going to guide you when you go to write this up. It is my opinion that the purpose, which is kind of gleaned from the beginning of the lab and the general procedure, the purpose will tell you how to write up the lab, and it is probably the most important statement. So the purpose of the simple distillation lab, and I'm giving you this, you don't have to make up anything new unless you feel like you want to, but the purpose of the simple distillation lab is to separate three mixtures, liquid mixtures, into their parts. Okay? And so that is a guiding purpose that when we get to writing the general procedure, it should all be, how are you separating those liquids? Okay? 3 liquid mixtures. Okay? And when you go to writing your conclusion, your analysis, it should be, how did you actually separate those 3 liquid mixtures? If you're taking observations, it should all relate back to the purpose. So for this lab, I have given you the purpose of the lab. And now below that, now we're ready to write our general procedure. Okay. Now, in terms of formatting, it's okay for me if you put a little a colon and then start, or if you underline and then you want to start here. Now, for general procedure, typically you want to keep everything, and I'm going to just real quick bring up the what is going on here in the lab book. but you want to you want to use complete sentences, but you don't want to copy word for word what is going on in the lab book. Okay? And so what you want to do is, for this, you want to say the general procedure is to, you want to set up a distillation apparatus. Okay? Now, notice you can't read that very well. That's okay for this sort of thing. If you can't read it or you want to make a correction, one line through it, initial, and date. Today happens to be the 6th. Okay? Set up a distillation apparatus to the pot. Add 50 milliliters of ethanol 2-propanol mixture. Okay. Now, I know this is boring to watch, but notice I'm writing this in complete sentences. Okay. And so you're going to do that in this lab specific case, you're going to do that for all 3 parts. In the future, some of the labs may only be 1 part, and so you may only have 1 part, but it may be a little longer. Whatever, so the idea here is I am summarizing what is being said in the lab book. Okay? This is so that you have an idea of what's going on in the lab before you get there, and kind of the things that are happening, so that for familiarity's sake. Okay, you don't want to come into the lab and not know what the heck is going on. Okay, so let's say this is the end of that. Okay, the general procedure, the summary of, not the summary, the rewording of the procedure that's in your lab supplement. Okay, let's say that this is it. If you're done with a page, you put a line through the bottom, and then you sign, and then you date. 9/6/17. Okay? Now, that is so people can't add any more to the bottom of this. Okay? So that's what you do for the general procedure. Now, the next section will start on the following page. Typically, you don't add anything after one of the pages is complete, or you don't add anything after one of the sections is complete. Okay, and so then the next section will start on page 108. Okay, so that's a general procedure, and not only that, but bonus, you actually get to see what a purpose of a lab is. Okay, so I hope this helps, and have a great day.